Welcome back to Transformers! I had to eat an Oreo before I said that.
Yeah, welcome back to Transformers Rise of the Tiddlywinkle.
What?
Thermal rocket cannon.
I forgot how you play this now? Shockwave?
Swindle.
Oh. I
Shockwave's
never know.
right here.
Oh, I'm done. Right.
You.
Assassins.
You people.
I hate you all people. I hate the kind of people. Go out, Shockwave. I mean, I guess Shockwave kills people anyway, so being a racist would surprise me. I mean, like...
I mean,
not that racism is
the
really...
Decepticons are kind of... They do look down upon the Insecticons. They do think they are inferior.
Soundwave just thinks everybody else is inferior to him. That's more egotistical rather than racist.
Yeah. He thinks that Autobots are specifically inferior. Him and the other Decepticons are cool. And he worships Megatron.
I think Decepticon and Autobot is more like class. Insecticon is more like race stuff.
Yeah.
Like, you're actually being racist.
On easy mode. I was able to beat every other game in hard mode. Fine. But because it's been so long, I've sort of lost my touch. I'm doing good though. I kind of want to change back to hard just because, like, I promised myself that I would go through all these games in the hardest difficulty back in Dark of the Moon, and we kept up that trend through 3 games. And just to ruin it in this game because it's the worst out of all of them. Which I would say that out of all the Cybertron games, you know, well, all the Transformers games, let's be honest. You know, Transformers Dark of the Moon, Transformers War for Cybertron, Transformers Fall of Cybertron, this is the worst one.
Yeah.
But, like, that being said, there are things to like about this one, I will say. It's just... I like the dialogue between the characters, even though a few of them do seem slightly out of character, like Shockwave.
You better get that shit out. I thought Shockwave's supposed to be helping you.
Yes.
Ward.
Because their AIs literally don't exist. Look, they're standing still.
Oh, I think you're supposed to meet him there.
No, but literally even in the middle of fights, they'll just stand still and shoot sometimes. Like, come on, game developers. You didn't have to make... Literally every single character in this game is models that they stole from another studio. And a lot of, like, level assets are just models that were stolen from the other studio.
Isn't Bruticus kind of his own character in a way?
I don't really know. Because obviously...
He's a few...
Like, maybe it's sort of like a hive mind.
Maybe.
With Bruticus, because... There has... At least, like, one of them has to control... Like, who is speaking in Bruticus? Who controls the little brain that there is? Because Bruticus is dumb. He's very dumb.
Which is interesting considering he's a combination of multiple minds.
Yeah. And
who've all existed for millions of years.
Only one of them is like the dumb one, and that's Brawl. In fact, a lot of the Combaticons are like smart, so I don't understand why Bruticus is dumb as bricks. He's just like he's actually like the complete opposite of the Combaticons. He's just big, strong, dumb.
Big, strong,
when
dumb.
the Combaticons are like smart, calculated, and strategic.
Almost more of a threat when divided.
Yes. Like, because, yeah, Bruticus is destructive and he can, like, ravage everything in his path, but the Combaticons, when they're separated, are a lot more of a team.
If they were just
ironically,
if they were just as intelligent as strategic in Bruticus's form, he'd be very formidable.
yeah.
Rather than just Punch Man,
Yeah, he's like, smash!
Hulk Smash of the Transformers.
Well, no, that's Grimoire.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, Bruticus is the dumb, strong one of the Decepticons. You know, when I found out that this game was not made by the same studio who made Fall of Cybertron and War for Cybertron and stuff, I immediately thought less of this game by a landslide. Because just the sheer amount of assets stolen from the other studio without permission, apparently, is, you know...
Get rid of those turrets. They seem to be doing a lot to your shield.
Okay. I don't know. I'm assuming that it has something, that Activision had something to do with the assets just being stolen. Because they feel Activision is scumbag enough that they would let that slide.
Yeah.
It's a good thing that Activision has apparently been getting, like, canceled. Because apparently their CEO, like, assaulted women.
Yeah, yeah.
So, you know, their stocks have gone down like 60% or something like that, and it keeps going down.
How Activision is still alive is beyond me.
Yeah, I can't, because literally no one has ever liked Activision. Like, I can't believe that a company so terrible is allowed to exist and thrive nowadays. It's just because of Call of Duty. And it's, you know, fortunate enough that Call of Duty Vanguard has been an absolute flop. Like a failure. And I could tell, because there are... I noticed that Call of Duty Vanguard gets so many more sponsors than the other ones were getting. That's because not enough people are buying it. So they need to make more money off it somehow. Like, I saw sponsors of Call of Duty Vanguard from Mountain Dew, beef jerky, everything at this point. And the game's been out for a month. No one likes it. No one buys it.
Mountain Dew, I understand. That's always been MLG.
I'm assuming that the player base for even Warzone has been going down because people have been getting tired of it.
Is that your own guy?
So, you know, it's good to see that Activision is finally getting punished. I still will never ever forgive them for what they did to the Transformers games. Honestly, in my opinion, that's the worst thing they did.
Yeah.
I don't give a damn that Call of Duty sucks now. That was bound to happen. It's been getting a yearly release for the last 20 years.
Of course, Jacob is talking about everything bad they did game-wise, not what the CEO of it did.
I honestly don't care about that. I'm not even. I'm not even surprised. It was like, oh wow, big shocker. The CEO of like the worst gaming company ever is a
scumbag.
Is a freak.
Yeah.
Big shocker. Anyways, they ruined my childhood.
Ruin everything.
And the fact you know, the studio that originally made these games.
Which one was it?
You know, High Moon Studios.
Oh yeah.
They're the ones that made like the good Transformers games, Dark of the Moon, War for Cybertron, Fall of Cybertron. They made all the best ones.
Yeah.
Nowadays, it's not even really a thing anymore. Activision like killed it. The entire studio. I don't think that any of the employees that worked on the Transformers games like work there anymore. They all got kicked off, and the studio only exists as like a separate wing of Activision that like sort of helps with games. Like, you see High Moon Studios when you start up Cold War, because they helped with it, sort of. I don't know what they did, but like they don't make their own games anymore. Like they like don't they're not allowed to anymore or something.
Or just literally fall backwards and Cliff Jumper will die. Yeah.
Except he didn't.
Okay. I was about to say.
Honestly, it's a shocker that he was able to survive.
I mean, look at that.
And Jazz appeared out of nowhere.
Two of them. Bruh.
Like shooting him would have done anything anyways.
We might shoot Cliff Jumper. Even though the person holding him is 50 times bigger than him. And is definitely a humongous target.
What is the situation? We screwed up. They made it into K-On with the dark spot and Cliff Jumper.
I think that the reason why Activision sort of killed High Moon Studios is because I think it's because High Moon Studios made a Deadpool game, and I guess it didn't do well enough, so I don't know.
No longer of use to us.
I don't know why they didn't let High Moon Studios make the sequel to Fall of Cybertron, which was going to exist. Because that game left on like the biggest cliffhanger in existence.
The only influence Activision has really had on my early childhood was the 3DS game of the Angry Birds trilogy.
I used to be so nostalgic of the Activision logo that would show up in the beginning of the Transformers games now. Now I just look at it and I feel sad, knowing what it actually is.
You Optimus now?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
I can't believe we're already at this mission. This is like... We're like 2 missions away from the end of the Cybertron story.
Wow.
And then the rest is the live action stuff. All those missions are very so
I'm not looking forward to that. Because this is... The Cybertron one is the actual one I'm invested in.
literally nothing happens in the live action stuff. Yeah. High Moon Studios made a Deadpool game. From what I saw, it was actually pretty good. And I guess Activision's standards for what is considered a good selling game has kind of been like warped beyond belief because of Call of Duty.
Yeah.
So Deadpool probably did well, but it didn't do Call of Duty good, therefore it sucks and that it must die. And even like the Transformers games, they didn't compare to Call of Duty even close. So that's honestly probably why. And Rise of the Dark Spark failed, I think, because nobody likes the story. The only thing that saved it was the escalation mode. That's now dead now. And I guess this just didn't sell as well, so they just completely killed the Transformers games. They didn't. You know what sucks?
Activision.
Transformers Devastation came out in 2015. Only a year after this did, actually. That was made by a different studio, thank God. Because honestly, the studio that made this game, they obviously didn't think it through. They look like they skimmed over the scripts for the original Transformers games, and they were just like, okay, we can work with that. We'll make something. We'll fart something out for you.
But it might cause a fuss.
This looks kind of like the Autobot logo.
Yeah. Also kind of look like Mega.
Yeah. So the studio that made this game was Edge of Reality. Speaking of Edge, you can see Edge of the texture.
Very good, Activision.
You can see where they just took the model and copy and pasted it to this. Or just did a terrible job of connecting it. Wow, that looks bad.
Wow. So good. Thank you.
This game was extremely rushed, and it was made by a different studio that clearly, barely looked at the other games. So it just ends up being a. It just ends up. I think. Oh, it sucks.
When was the last actually good Transformers game? Was it in this series or?
It was Devastation,
When did that come out?
2015.
That works too.
At least we got Transformers Battle Royale. Oh. we need a new Transformer.
New good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Transformers franchise has honestly been like suffering ever since Devastation. The best thing, if the best thing about a franchise in recent years is the toys, there is something wrong. Oh wait, no, ever since Bumblebee, the Transformers franchise has been suffering hard. Because
Like,
Bumblebee actually did really well.
I'd imagine so because I loved Bumblebee because it was like
It's actually the highest rated live action Transformers. It has like a 91% in Rotten Tomatoes.
yeah like the
Only 9% of people didn't like that movie,
the whole
which is way more than the Michael Bay stuff. The highest rating in the Michael Bay stuff was the first movie, like a 60-something.
yeah, and they didn't have the weird unnecessarily mature and unnecessary it was unnecessary and mature humor in it.
Mature.
Like yeah, I mean it's
They literally said that the demographic was like
they're dirty
early teens.
they're dirty jokes, but they're not very mature. That's a better way of wording it. And I just hated it whenever they did that. Like
Yeah.
they gave Devastator balls.
The
who-
the humor in the live action stuff is very hidden.
Like fire whoever decided, let's give the robot balls.
'Cause,
Fire them.
Sometimes they're funny because it's just so stupid.
But like sometimes it's just
It's just cringe.
too overwhelmingly stupid.
It's just cringe. They say that the demographic was like 13, 14. I guess I can see that.
I can see that because they're like balls.
But any age after that, and like it gets very old.
Yeah.
Like to like us, like we're not that far. We're not that much older than 13, 14, but like we're better than that now.
We know what stupid and good humor.
'Cause yeah, I remember back when I was 13, like my favorite words were probably gay and retarded. Like Josiah is now.
There's a ton of turrets out here, Optimus.
Um,
Going this way until they're
I also said some questionable things
You
when
did
I
say
was 13.
You said questionable. Yeah.
Things that I would most definitely never say nowadays, and I regret.
We all have regrets when we're younger. But yeah, when Bumblebee came out, just it was a breath of fresh air, honestly.
Yeah.
Like no
Cause
dumb humor. The even though they were mostly the G1 things, I loved it. It was legit. It was
there was definitely dumb humor with the human characters.
they did justice to the human characters. At least they gave them purpose, but not to the point where they were like plot armor and they were like important to like saving an entire planet or something like that.
Yeah,
It's like
Bumblebee almost died like multiple times, which is good because he's not like Optimus Prime. He's a scout in the Autobot army. They did a really good job of making a Bumblebee feel like he has a lot to learn.
yeah, and
They did kind of hinder him on purpose for the sake of plot by
Yeah.
having him like lose his memories, which I think was honestly one of the very few things that was kind of dumb about that movie. Like, why get rid of his memories?
the only reason the main reason I like that part though was because it kind of gave more purpose to the human character. Because the other
Because if he had all of his memories and like he knew how to fight still, why would they need these insignificant humans?
yeah, and in the Michael Bay movies, the reason Shia LaBeouf's character the reason he had purpose was because I guess like he had things in his brain that that they needed and
That's
vital
that's why the
information.
Decepticons were after him in the second movie.
And if he was of no use to the Autobots, then they would not associate with Witwicky whatsoever. They'd just be like any other human that...
And the reason why the Autobots cared about meeting him in the first place was because he had his grandfather's glasses
Yeah.
that had like important information about the location of the Allspark. eBay. And then like that, yeah, that's why they needed Sam. And then in the third movie, I guess they just kept him around because they were friends at that point.
Yeah, I guess they were friends, but it seems very hollow because it just kind of started with, we need this human, it has vital information. Like,
And then after the third movie, Shia LaBeouf just left because he was like, okay, the third movie, this is where it should end. This is the best one so far. I'm done. If they make any more, I won't be in it. And then they kept making more because it made billions of dollars.
but then in Bumblebee, it's not just like, I mean, I guess to an extent Bumblebee needed her, but not in a way that, like, not in a way like, we need her specifically for this. Like, we need Shia LaBeouf just so we can get the information and then we're out. It's like,
She was like,
it's like she was supporting Bumblebee. Bumblebee didn't know what he was doing.
Bumblebee had no idea where he was or what he was doing. Like, she was like sort of his beacon of information and like purpose on Earth.
And then it was up until Bumblebee regained his memories that, like, Bumblebee then realized, like, the real importance of her and what, like, they kind of mean to each other in a way. And then when not too long after Bumblebee regained his memories, he realized that he had to leave. He had to leave for the war and everything because Optimus was on Earth and everything. And that's what made the goodbye a little more heartfelt. Like, it seemed like there was actually a relationship rather than, we need Shia LaBeouf's glasses. They actually seemed like friends rather than, because they were in a sense they were both going through loss in a way. Because I think the girl's father passed and he left her all her records and he was like mourning. And Bumblebee lost his memories and was just suffered through the death of his planet pretty much. And he didn't know where any of his friends were. And it, like, I guess in a way, she, in the long run, helped Bumblebee reunite with Optimus Prime, who Optimus is like.
Because honestly, if it wasn't for her, I think Bumblebee would be surely dead, right?
Yeah.
He would have just gotten hunted by those Decepticons.
John Cena.
He would have. he wouldn't have known what to do because he didn't know how to fight. He like taught Bumblebee how to blend in on Earth.
Mm-hmm.
So like, yeah, he would have been dead without it. And then for a weird thing that they tried to do with the fourth and fifth movie is like they obviously had to introduce new human characters, but they like tried to make him have
Optimus Prime, what an unexpected honor. Decepticons, give our guests a warm welcome.
Megatron's here now. They tried to give the illusion that this random human that Optimus Prime just met, they like writ him like he had the same chemistry with the Autobots as Sam Witwicky did. He just jumped off the map and died. Which doesn't make any sense because Sam had 3 movies to connect with the Autobots. So it makes sense that they like care about him somewhat. But this new character in the 4th and 5th movie, they don't know him. Why do they care about him at all? Well, I mean, I guess he saved Optimus Prime's life, but that's about it. They shouldn't become best friends after that.
I'll kill you all.
Yeah.
That's like the first thing he said after transforming out.
I'll kill you.
I'll kill you all.
Which, by the way, Optimus is very violent
Very,
in
yeah,
the live-action movies.
They made Optimus way too violent in the other one. I mean, I guess he's violent here, but like he's in the midst of a war. It's either
I guess that's what they were going for, because like, I guess it makes sense because at that point in the fourth movie, the humans were quite literally trying to kill all of them. So like, I guess it makes sense. It's sort of justified why Optimus would hate them and want to, you know, delete them.
and
But the way he goes about it is not really in character.
yeah, I mean, like he kills Decepticons either way, and even in this one, he's like, but in this one, he's like, you shouldn't have challenged us and stuff. Like he's fighting them, and it's more of a, it's not like he's completely compassionless, but like, what can you do when you're in the middle of a war? But then in the movies, he's like, I'm going to destroy, I'll mutilate you up.
And then
Give me your
he
face.
did a very strange thing in the end of the fourth movie, where he literally killed a human by his own hand on purpose, like intentionally. He killed a human, which obviously the human wasn't on their side, but Optimus Prime in no universe should ever have the intent to kill a human. That's literally like one of the things that drives his character. In every other iteration of Optimus Prime, he's like this noble leader who knows that the humans are an innocent race, and even no matter who they are, they do not deserve to die. He would never kill a human.
Which human was that again that he killed?
I don't remember his name, but he was one of the like villain characters in the fourth movie. He was one of the. I really don't know how to describe him. He didn't do much, but like, Optimus Prime literally shoots him with a gun and kills him.
Is that the one with Galvatron?
Yeah. In the final fight against Lockdown, like that guy is there for some reason, but Optimus Prime literally shoots him and kills him intentionally. Just square in the chest, dead instantly, blows him up.
All right.
And I'm like, okay, is this really Optimus Prime? I can't. Like, that's the I don't like. I honestly, I don't hate Optimus Prime from the live action movies. I actually think he's pretty cool in the first 3 movies, and he does some cool things in these new ones. But he's just too violent. He's too out of character when it comes to like the way he fights.
And then when he shows up in Bumblebee, like he wasn't even the main focus. But
Not even
just,
close.
But just seeing him with the compassion that Optimus Prime should have towards Bumblebee, like it's like he's a father to Bumblebee in a way, because Bumblebee's still like a younger scout compared to him and everything, and just the compassion, even in the midst of his entire planet pretty much dying and in the grasp of the Decepticons, he's still, like you said, that noble leader.
I do have to say, I know exactly why they made Optimus Prime the way he is in the later movies, because I will say that Optimus Prime in the first movie is actually like very in character. He straight up says in the first movie, we can't kill humans. Like we would never do that. And he has like a really good speech about freedom is the right of all sentient beings, which is like his catchphrase. And he doesn't hesitate to have a full-blown fight with Megatron in the middle of a city full of people, which is sort of out of character, but it's for the sake of the action.
Yes.
And that's the reason why, because he sort of gets like rewritten in all the later movies. He's like a different character in the second movie and up. And there's nothing wrong with that. It was purely because they wanted to make like all the interesting action scenes, the fun action scenes, which was like the best part about those movies.
I mean, what else is going to be the main focus when you have giant robots with guns that are from another planet? Huge. You have them five.
Like, I think the thing that people complain about the most in the live action movies is that their story is lacking, which is expected. It's because there's hardly any story to, like, at all to begin with. It's all just shooty shooty bang bang, fun to watch stuff.
Yeah.
Like, with like with like the most impressive visual effects in movie history. Like, for 2007, the first movie, like, the effects of the, like, the amount of detail and how realistic the robots look is so impressive for 2007. I was 2 years old when that came out, and it still looks amazing today. Like, you don't see that type of stuff in old movies like that. And I think, like, the best example around that time of, like, good-looking CGI is probably Star Wars Revenge of the Sith. General Grievous, to be specific. He looks so good in that movie. And that movie came out in, like, the same year as the first Transformers movie. I think that the first Transformers movie is, like, what started, like, the beginning of actually good CGI in movies. So, like, that's one thing you can say that was good about it. And, I mean, most people agree that the first one is the best one. It's, like, the one that everybody always says, like, oh yeah, it wasn't bad. It was pretty good. There were a lot of very iconic scenes in that first one. And then I guess the second one is just where it goes downhill for a lot of people. The second one is actually considered to be the worst out of all of the movies.
I think, so the sequel to Bumblebee is going to be, like, based off of Optimus Prime's point of view, right?
The next Transformers movie is... it's gonna be Rise of the Beasts.
Rise of the...
It's gonna have, like, the Beast Wars character.
Oh.
Optimus Prime is gonna be in that movie, but also Optimus Prime...
Odd.
Then... there's gonna be... I have no idea, actually, who the main villain is gonna be in that movie. A lot of... the name Cyclonus has been thrown around a lot, and Cyclonus is... one of Galvatron's henchmen from the G1 Transformers movie.
Ah.
But I don't think I would want him to be the main villain. That'd be strange.
Yeah.
I don't know if Megatron is going to make an appearance. That'd be interesting if he didn't. That'd be the second Transformers movie in a row where Megatron does not show up at all.
I think it'd be a pretty... yeah, I definitely don't think
Megatron isn't even mentioned once in Bumblebee. There's apparently a deleted scene where Megatron actually shows up, and he was supposed to show up on the Cybertron scene, and he was supposed to be, like, fighting alongside the Decepticons, and it was apparently going to be really cool. And I think the reason why they didn't do it was because they wanted to put more focus onto Bumblebee. Like, I think that Megatron would have just stolen the show if he showed up. And it also... I think it was also to put more attention towards the Decepticon, like the new characters that they introduced in that movie. The ones that ended up being the main villain. Because if Megatron was there, it would just... It would sort of, like, it would, like, make you look down upon the two characters that were supposed to be the main villains. Because of, like, Megatron's, like, literally the biggest threat out of all of them. And to not have him be the main villain would be a strange decision if they did decide to include him. so they decided to just cut him entirely.
I don't think Cyclonus is going to be the main villain, because I think it'd be a pretty big jump to not have Megatron as the main villain in the first one and not even show up whatsoever, and instead have two Decepticon soldiers be the main villain, and then it jumps directly to henchmen of Galvatron.
Yeah.
Because you'd think Megatron should be introduced before the entire threat of Unicron. Wait, did I say henchman of Galvatron?
Yeah.
Yeah, I meant to say Unicron. Henchman of Unicron. I think it'd be a pretty big jump.
I really hope that Megatron is in this next movie.
Yeah.
Like, it makes total sense why they didn't include him in Bumblebee.
Because it's Bumblebee, like, it's not...
But I also, like, the way they described how his scene would have worked, like his fighting on Cybertron, he was apparently just going to be completely wrecking house. Just, like, tearing through Autobots, and it would have been really cool to see.
Yeah.
Kind of like that one scene from the Fall of Cybertron trailer, where he's just absolutely wrecking house and stealing the show.
I can't wait to see his design in the new reboot.
There was also gonna actually be a scene in the end credits of Megatron where you remember how in the first Michael Bay movie Megatron starts off being he was frozen in like in a military base. There was apparently going to be a scene in the end of Bumblebee of that exact moment where Megatron is frozen in the military base, but it's like his G1 design. And there's actually like concept art of that. Like his updated Bumblebee, you know, like G1 Megatron but in the style of Bumblebee. Yeah. There are confirmed like what he would have looked like in the movie.
I need to see it then.
Yeah, it would have been very cool, but they just decided to cut all of it, I guess. Which kind of sucks, but it's understandable. One thing about this game that is weird is the voice actor's delivery for Megatron. I think I actually mentioned this in the first episode we recorded a very long time ago. But the way he speaks is just like off. It's different. It's not right.
I'd have to hear his voice again to notice. Because I've only heard it a few times.
The way he speaks is like, I don't know how to describe it. It just doesn't sound. His delivery sounds different from like the way he spoke in the other games. And I don't know if you'll notice it, but I definitely noticed it when I was replaying this game before we recorded that first episode.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, Megatron sounds different. Like, I noticed a lot of issues with this game when I replayed it, because when I replayed it before we did the series, it was like the first time I played it in many years, so I have like a different... I actually have like a perception on what's good and bad. I don't just blindly love these games because it's Transformers. I still think that there's things to like about this game. And it's just mainly stuff that was recycled from Fall of Cybertron, which is the best one. But it's definitely the worst of these like Cybertron games by a long shot.
So minor just a moment ago.
There's just nothing memorable about it, I would say, and it just doesn't make any sense. It doesn't connect with the other games very well at all.
Sure, take your time.
It tries to, because Sideswipe mentions at some point in the earlier missions that it's like, oh, the Ark is gonna launch in like 4 days or whatever he said, a week. which would take place before Fall of Cybertron. Because,
Yeah.
like, Fall of Cybertron happened, like, the most of the story happened, like, only, like, 4 Earth days before the arc launched. But that doesn't make sense that this would be, like, a week before then, because that would mean that literally, like, 3 days before the huge events of Fall of Cybertron, all this crap happened? Okay. Why is the Darkspark never mentioned once in Fall of Cybertron? It was such a huge ancient relic. Like literally the antithesis of the freaking Matrix of leadership. And it's not mentioned once in Fall of Cybertron, it's just like thrown in this game. Doesn't make any sense. That guy's like hardly even moving. That's another thing about this game.
AI not being.
Yeah. Where are you going? Man, you really showed me.
I'll die.
Like, not only are all the assets stolen from another studio, the story doesn't make sense. But, like, they didn't even, like, make proper AI. Like, where did you get him?
At least steal the AI too, so it resembles again.
He was right there. And he was just sitting still, looking in the opposite direction. Like, maybe I should play on hard mode, because then at least I'll be taking more damage when they decide to shoot at me. Make it somewhat interesting, but nope, they're just brain dead. And also, what is happening? Am I supposed to kill all the enemies before it continues? Where is he? Hi. Your aim sucks.
I'm gonna get you.
Okay, yeah, I was supposed to defeat all the enemies before I could continue.
Dinner.
Also, in just a second after I'm done here, I'm gonna show you something. You might notice. Ow. Not even like hurting me that much. Oh no.
Just hold me in a sec. What?
Wait. After. Wait. And there. That's Triptychon. But did you notice something?
What?
He looked completely different. Like, not even close to how he did in War for Cybertron or Fall of Cybertron. It was more like his G1 design, but that doesn't make any sense.
Didn't you fight him as Optimus Prime? That's the boss that you kept dying on.
Yeah. And in Fall of Cybertron, which is apparently supposed to take place after this, you know, when you play as Megatron, you go back to the ruins of Triptychon and like you reassemble his limbs and you turn him into the Decepticon ship. You remember that, right?
Yeah.
And in Fall of Cybertron, he looks exactly like how he did in War for Cybertron.
Oh yeah, and then Megatron like turns him permanently.
Because he was too damaged to actually like, bring back to life as a... But then in this game, why did they... Out of all of the assets that they reused, they decided to completely remodel Triptychon. That doesn't make any sense.
He shows up for that much time.
Yeah, that's the only time you see Triptychon in this entire game.
And the funny thing is, that's not his ship form.
And that makes sense. But he shouldn't even be out. Not only is he's in a completely different location, why would he be there? I guess that may have been like before the Autobots took Triptychon and dismembered him. Because they used Triptychon's body for energy while he was still alive.
Yeah.
And then Megatron came and ended that whole operation. Well, in this game, he's in a completely different location. He looks different, and he's not even. He like, why is he not in the Autobot base? And this is no wait. If this does only take place a few days before the Fall of Cybertron starts, then he should definitely be at the Autobot base at this point, because they had been using Crypticon for energy for over a year at that point.
For how long?
Over a year.
Oh.
So there ain't no reason as to why he would be just in this random facility.
These defense grids must shelter the power source.
That's Activision.
It's like the developers of this game just looked at the other games and they were like, okay, Tripticon was in those, we need to use him to connect it. But then like they didn't know what actually happened, so they ended up actually making things worse. Like, no, but Tripticon's in the other ones, right? So like we're tying, yeah, it makes sense, right?
Like those videos on YouTube of the guys like, I asked my grandma what the names of these Pokemon were, and like the grandma doesn't know the names of the Pokemon. They just show her the name of the design of the Pokemon. Just say, okay, what's its name? That's pretty much what they did.
Yeah.
Like I remember seeing the thumbnail. It just showed a picture of Charmander, and she says, "I'll name him Hamilton."
Yeah.
Pretty much what they did to this game.
Yeah. I keep saying that there's things to like about this story, but then like every other minute I mention another thing that's wrong about it. Maybe it's just genuinely bad.
This game made by Activision that was rushed is bad. Everything that made it good was stolen from the other good games.
Yeah, and then diarrhea it out in a year by some random company that didn't, some random studio that obviously had no idea what the other games were about.
Yeah. I'll name him Hamilton.
Like this place we're in now is called Cocular, and it's apparently supposed to be Megatron's main base.
Where are you, Megatron? There.
But it doesn't exist in any other game.
I don't think Megatron should have a designated base. I think they should always be on the move. That'd make more.
No, because they do have a base in Fall of Cybertron.
Thank you, Perceptor.
And it's definitely not this place. I think it was Kaon,
Yeah.
where Starscream, that place we were at,
Where everyone just was, yeah.
like I think that is the Decepticon base, like where Soundwave's lab is, and where the Coliseum is, where Starscream tries to become the leader of the Decepticons, but then Megatron comes back to that.
Soundwave's like,
Okay, let's put this back together and
Soundwave, like there should be no excuse on why Soundwave is not second in command. There's no excuse. He should be second in command.
Yeah, I will say
His
that
devotion to Megatron is unwavering.
I will say that I don't think there really is a second in command in these games.
Starscream is kind of the second in command.
Not really.
He's He's a trusted officer of Megatron, which don't know exactly how that happened. Megatron's smarter than that. Or you think he'd be.
That's literally just an animation is stolen from Grimlock in Fall of Cyber. But they used it for Optimus Prime, apparently. Oh, the final boss of the Cybertron story. We're here. My god! Dead Autobots! I've never seen these before. It's not like they're literally piled everywhere in Fall of Cybertron and War for Cybertron.
Obviously, Megatron's Texas for a second.
First, I would like you to assist me with an experiment.
I am monitoring all outputs, Lord Megatron. Proceed at your leisure.
And that first laugh that Megatron did was literally a sound clip stolen from Lockdown. Not even Megatron's actor recorded that laugh.
You will answer for this perversion, Megatron.
The way he laughs is not anything like he does. What is he doing? They couldn't even bother properly giving AI to Megatron. God. He's a tank. Oh no, where is he going? Oh, he's not a tank anymore. He didn't even try shooting me once.
He's like, oh, no, I'm not comfortable with it.
Dum-da-dum. Am I dead yet?
Am I dead yet? Not
Get
so
away.
grub.
Oh!
Ninja, go!
No! Megatron, that's not your move.
It is now.
Okay. And it's over.
I will rip the
Oh, you have robot hands, not bare hands.
Matrix.
You just have it.
Fire in my what? Megatron could do that too.
Yeah, now it's just a Dragon Ball Z fight scene. And I don't think that Optimus is like could even be able to do that. Matrix.
Like, was stopping you from doing it like every other fight you were in. Oh, that's probably why. Now you're dying.
Optimus Command, are you there, Optimus? Roger me. Welcome.
Versus oh,
Megatron.
oh, put it in my eye.
Bot forces to regroup at Iacon. Our struggle and all our hopes now hinge on the Ark. The Dark Spark is no longer an
I get the feeling that that animation, and his and
Oh, there's the Dark Spark Megatron. I think.
yeah. Why Optimus was like trembling in pain there, but his voice was like completely calm, like blah, blah, blah. And but like his body movements did not match that at all.
You should have been like, Spark is oh. Yeah, that should be more like, I remember. I just got
Which
shot in the
I don't-
Matrix.
That was definitely not Peter Cullen's fault. I think that was just the voice director not doing their job. They just told him, okay, just do the line. They didn't tell him like Optimus Prime is in pain right now. He almost died. They probably didn't say that.
Oh boy.
Prepare to disembark.
Yes, sir.
What is that on the top of the screen?
Probabilities place the Dark Spark into my
I
possession.
On the wait a minute.
Presents you with an opportunity.
What is that?
Wait.
Capitalize on it.
Oh no, I think I know what that is.
What is that?
Because that was a pre-rendered cutscene right there. I think that was like the very top
think-
slice of the screen of the gameplay section. And the video of the cutscene was not properly cropped in.
Hunters arrived. Locked on, so the trajectory was accurate.
I've never seen that before.
As to his purpose.
We're an hour in.
Yeah, we're gonna end after this cutscene.
Alright.
Flank him through the cover on the left.
Chapter 10. We were at the beginning of chapter 4 an hour ago. 2 hours ago. So,
Stockholm
get the-
syndrome. What the?
I get the feeling the next episode. Okay. So that was yet another episode of us barely talking about the game. And talking about other stuff. Well,
It's hard to talk about it because like
what's even happening?
yeah.
Nothing. Just stuff.
And now we're just in the movie world, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's nothing really new to be added on. Can't really add anything. Commentary.
So yeah.
Next time I'm getting.
Stop! It's been 8 months and you're still saying this.
Uh huh.
Stop!
Ah.